Hey, I am Laurie Bates and I represent Create Better Health SNAP Ed program. And I'm so glad that you decided to come and join me today. I hope that you're getting ready for the holiday, the big old party that you're having at home, and that your family's getting excited. I know mine is. I also teach people who are on limited resources and establish healthy eating habits and exercising ideas. We also teach the youth, which is quite the honor to do. We are USDA nutrition and physical activity lessons. Our recommendation is from them. We are also affiliated with USU Extension. All right, well, today, as you can see, we got lots going on here. I wanted to try and give you some ideas this month to help make that big celebration week or day a little easier on your family. This breakfast, brunch, or appetizer, it could be any of the above, is one way to do that. A boat egg, and it's basically an omelet in a baguette. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so the first thing you're going to need is 4 of these buffalo baguettes. That's kind of what they're called. And you can get that at your bakery, or you can make them yourself if you would like to. It would be like a French bread dough is how you would make those. Then we're going to need 5 eggs. We're going to need some Greek yogurt, plain. Make sure we have that. And some ham or bacon or pancetta, whatever you would like, or turkey or chicken. Some cheese of your choice. Some green onions, a Roman tomato, and salt and pepper. And an avocado if you want on top is optional. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven at 350 degrees. Then we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to use my scissors. You could use a knife if you don't have kitchen scissors. But if you don't, maybe you should ask Santa for some. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your scissors or your knife right in there and make like a V to make a well. You're not going to go all the way to the end here. You're just going to cut to make a well that won't leak. You don't want it leaking. Okay? So then go underneath that bread and try and get as much bread, but not all the way to the bottom, out of there that you can. Okay? And then we're not going to waste this. I'm going to go ahead and toast that other part right here. So then I'm going to take my fingers, which we've washed our hands beforehand, and just push that bread down a little bit. And then we've got our little well like that. Okay? So I'm going to do that to each of these. And I've already got these pre-cut. So all I have to do is get those all done. You could do this with a big French bread if you wanted. Save these. Like I said, I'll show you what we're going to do with them. And then if you're going to do a big loaf, save the top and then you can make it into, individual toast. Okay. So when we got that done, I'm going to move this to the side over here. Good job. All right. I'm going to start prepping all of our stuff. Let's get our eggs going first. So, we're going to go ahead and crack our eggs right in there and have another bowl for your shells so that you're not trying to run back and forth to the trash. Okay. And make sure you don't have any shells, which it doesn't look like I do. And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to wash our hands now because when we've handled these eggs, they've got some sometimes sitting egg whites on the outside, and sometimes it'll have some salmonella type stuff on them. So we want to make sure I wash our hands. Okay, our hands done. Let's go ahead and kind of break these yolks up a little bit so they're easier to beat. Sometimes if you break those yolks, see how easy they got themselves all incorporated into each other. Okay, then we're going to take our yogurt and we're going to 1/3 of a cup. And what this does is it gets a richness. Sometimes in recipes you will see heavy cream added. But we are going to add Greek yogurt to that. So the reason why, let me go over that a little bit as to why the Greek yogurt cream, we are adding more fat. So it's another way to be sure to substitute your heavy cream for something healthier. Okay, so it's a substitute for a healthier switch. You'll get somewhat tangier flavor than you would with sour cream, or I mean heavy cream, or sour cream. Sour cream's a little tangy too, though. But make sure that you use the full fat Greek yogurt so that you are getting some of that fat that you need. Okay, so heavy cream tends to be give your product some creaminess and flavor to sweet and savory dishes. But we can do the same thing with Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. For example, cream has 44 grams of fat and 28 grams of saturated fat per cup, with only 22 grams of fat and 28 grams of saturated fat per cup on the Greek yogurt substitution. So by substituting that, we are saving half those fat intakes. Okay, when cooking with yogurt instead of cream, it's a 1-to-1 substitution ratio. Okay, all right. So then let's go ahead and mix that Greek yogurt in. It takes a little bit of time to get that mixed in because it's a lot thicker than cream, right? And if you need to, you can water down your yogurt just with a little bit of milk. That would be okay too. But I didn't. I like the thickness that it gives to the eggs. I don't know if you've ever done your scrambled eggs this way too, but it's very good. Okay. All right, so that's all done. Then we're going to add our cheese. And you could use any type of cheese that you would like. Gruyere, you could do sharp cheddar, you could do mozzarella, parmesan, anything that you really like. And it's 3 ounces, which would be about 1/3 of a cup. Okay. And you could save a little bit for the top if you wanted to. All right, and then we're going to add, I'm going to use ham, but you could add your bacon or whatever that you have on hand. We're all about using what's in our pantry, okay? Okay, and then we're just going to mix that right in there. And then we're going to start taking care of our vegetables that we're going to put into it. And when you're doing your vegetables, you can really do any kind of vegetable that you would like. You could do broccoli, you could do mushrooms, you could do white onions instead of green, no onions, you could do a little onion powder. So it's very versatile and it really does very nicely with anything you want to use. So the meat was 4 ounces, and then of course, like I said, the cheese was about 3 ounces. So 4 ounces is about 1/2 cup, and 3 ounces is about 1/3. All right, I'm going to use the green onions today, and I got the skinniest ones I could find because I don't know about you, but I don't like a mouthful of onion. And so I try really hard to get the thinner ones so that I don't have that problem. Now, if you have that problem, then you might want to do the same thing. All right, I always keep the band on. If you're going to use all of your onions, keep your rubber band on. It helps keep them all intact and easier to cut. But I've already got one. We need another one though. 2. So I'm only using 2, so we'll just go ahead and take that out. And make sure you rinse them so they're nice and clean. Now you're going to take the root part of your onion off and put that aside. And in this dish, I really like the chivy green part of the green onion. That's probably my favorite part. So I'm going to add some of those in. And I'm also going to cut some up for the top so that we have that to make it nice and pretty after. And it really does have that chive flavor. So if you don't like that flavor, then you might want to go ahead and use some onion powder. Okay. All right, so we're going to get 2 of these done. If you want or you like more of this, then go ahead and feel free to cut more up as well. So that's kind of what that looks like. Okay. And we're going to add that right to our eggs. And I'm going to leave some for the top, okay? I'm just going to pull these to the side. A Roma tomato. And so let's mix these the green onions up. Okay. Now the Roma tomato has got some seeds and whatnot in there, and I like to take those out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it as thin as I want it. And you don't have to use the whole tomato if you don't want to, or if you like tomato, go ahead. And then just kind of scoop, be careful of your fingers, scoop that fleshy, watery part out so that it's not watering our eggs down. Okay, let's get all that up. So we basically just want the rind of the tomato. And if you want to use the other one for the topping, you could do that. Matter of fact, I think I might, if you don't mind the seeds. Okay, so then I'm going to line these all up like this. Just like that. Okay. And then get them all ready. Make sure you curve your fingers when you're cutting. We don't want any cuts. If we can at all help it. Okay, and if that's really too thick for you, go ahead and go the other way again. And so you can see this is really diced nicely. And I'll show you that here in a minute. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to put my roly-polies away. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at as far as diced. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that right in there, and then I'm going to do another little bit for the top when it comes out of the oven or the microwave. And you can do this either way. You can do it in your oven, you can do it in your microwave. The oven makes your bread a little more crispy, and the microwave will make it not quite so much so, but it's faster. In the oven, I think it's like 20 minutes. And in the microwave, it's just a couple of minutes. So big difference. Okay, so I did some for the top on that as well. All right. Okay, so let's mix these together. Ooh, this is looking really yummy. And that's it as far as the filling goes. Really easy, huh? And then I'm going to go ahead and take a third of a cup or a smaller cup, whichever one you want. It's up to you. And then let's go ahead and get our bread over here. I'm just going to put this right here for now. Make sure your table's clean if you're working on a table. All right, I'm gonna put mine in the microwave just for demonstration purposes, and then I'll put some on the oven, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so get a plate that's microwave safe, and this one looks like it needs to have a little more bread taken out. You want to make sure there's a pretty good size well in there. Okay, so go ahead and pour that right in. Not too much over, but enough, because it's going to expand a little bit. Okay, and I have my microwave, so I'm going to go ahead and microwave that for a couple of minutes on high. And then I will go ahead and fill my other ones, and go ahead and do it on your plate or your cookie sheet. That way you don't have to transfer it again. And this might have made another one even, so it might make 5 if you're lucky. Well, maybe not. Okay, and then I will put this in the oven. Well, that's, and I also wanted, before we start protein lesson, remember the oatmeal container that we did in contact paper? Well, you could put your Ziploc bag in there and do all your eggs and filling in here first, if you would rather. And that would save a little bit of cleanup. Just a thought. What foods do you think of when someone says protein? Well, you might think about an egg, what we use today. And you might also think of meat, maybe some beans, dried beans, some cottage cheese, some nuts, seeds, some cheese like we use today. Any of those would be in our protein group. Also tofu and fish, beef, chicken, pork, frozen, canned protein will be great. Lentils, other soy products that come from beans, nut butters, cow's milk, yogurt, cheese, like we said. While milk from soy, coconut, rice, and almonds are a good source of calcium and vitamin D. They really don't have a lot of protein in them in order for them to be considered in the protein food group. They do have some protein in them, but just not enough for them to say, it's going to go in there. So how much protein do you need as an average adult? Well, you need 5 to 6 ounces depending on what you do for a job. The harder you work, the more you'll need. The amount of protein a person needs depends on your body, like I just said. So if you're working really hard one day in the yard, or you're running, you're going to need more. My plate recommends protein in ounce equivalents, like I said, 5 to 6 ounces. Okay, and most guys need 6 to 6.5 ounces of protein every day. So they get a little bit more than us gals. Each of the following amounts provide about 1 ounce of protein. So 1 medium egg, okay, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 1/4 cup of cooked beans, like this. These are raw, but cooked beans. And then black beans, refried beans, chickpeas, any of those will work. 12 almonds, 24 pistachios, 7 walnut halves. 1 slice of deli sliced meat. Chicken, beef, seafood, pork are more likely to be served in 3 ounces. So if you're looking at your hand, the palm of your hand is about 3 ounce size, or a deck of cards. That will kind of give you an idea of how big that is. 1 small chicken breast, about the size of your palm, or the size of a deck of cards. A small lean hamburger patty, okay, those all work. A can of tuna drained. Also remember that choosemyplate.gov is a really good place to have more information about protein and the other food groups as well. Also, don't forget to go over to createbetterhealth.org. They have lots of recipes and ideas for you to put on your menus. I hope you're menu planning so that you're more prepared for the meals coming up when you're busy. And it also will be good to get you in the habit of doing that. Okay, now that we know about that much more about protein, we need on a daily basis talk a little bit about the protein. And protein itself is a building block for our body, for our muscles, bones, cartilage, our skin, and for our blood. Protein also helps with growing, if you need to do any growing, and to heal, like I said. So if you're falling or anything's going on that you got injured, this would be a good thing to remember to do. So going lean with protein. Some of the protein, like ham and whatnot, will have some saturated fat in them. And it is recommended that we make protein foods lower in saturated fat. And how we do that is we buy lower amounts in fat content. And also we could look for products that say like 96% fat-free. That's pretty darn good for ham. We can rinse our hamburger after we've cooked it to get all that grease off of it so that we can still, have the beef but be less in fat. Diets high in saturated fat are often associated with increased risk of heart disease. Saturated fat is believed to raise your bad, or something called LDL. And we want to make sure that that LDL is low and cholesterol levels are kept at bay. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is exercise. Resistant training. That is where we're doing weights. Okay, so let's say if this was a weight, we would, exercise with it as a resistant. It's making our muscles work a little bit harder than it normally would. So it's great for someone just starting, as it helps to build strength and endurance. It increases our body resting rate. It lowers our blood pressure, and it reduces the risk of osteoporosis. Resistant training tips for you are, for in the beginning, follow the same moves every day as you begin to start. So if you do this every day, right? That means with your milk jugs or your bands, that means you're going to do that at least 3 times that whole week, the same. So beginners should never carry away or try to imitate others who have been doing resistant training with weights a longer time. Because when you're just starting out, you need to be just doing it little by little. And you need to be training a little bit longer. To ensure that you perform the same moves every day, okay? Make sure in the very beginning, just in the beginning, to build the level of fitness and strength up, okay? Repeat the exercises for better results and increase weights gradually. So if you're going to do a half of a gallon jug, let's say, of water, the next week maybe you could do 3/4. And then the next week you could go a whole gallon of water in your milk jug. Or you could go from a small container to a bigger container the next week, just to get yourself used to it. And we don't want you to get hurt. Everyone, whether beginners or otherwise, needs proper warm-up. So before starting each time, the warm-up helps you loosen up your tight muscles and make the strength workout more effective. So you'll, just kind of rolling your muscles and getting yourself kind of warmed up and just gently stretching your muscles, and especially if you're not used to it. It's a good way to wake them up, and it will help prepare your muscles for what they're about to do, okay? We have some examples in our handout that's included in the comment section below this video. Read them over. Try one, but keep it the same for the first 3 weeks, okay? So choose 2 in the first 3 weeks, do those 2. And then add a third one maybe on the 3rd or 4th week. They also will help beginners to prevent injuries as well as muscle strain during a workout. Make a goal. Those are always fun because we always think, oh, I make a goal and then I never do it. But keep doing it until you can do your goal. We would like to begin whether it be cooking from scratch, whether your goal is that, or whether it's eating better with protein or My Plate, or whether it's the exercise, starting out small, one step at a time. If you jump in the pool right away, it's pretty shocking. And if your body's not used to it, it's even more so. So even with cooking, just take little steps and take it one little step at a time. I wanted to show you what our product looked like at the very end. Okay, so I have put avocado and fresh tomatoes on top. Then I put a little butter on this and toasted it up just to kind of put it on the side. And doesn't that look beautiful? I want you to see more close. Can you see that? Neat, huh? Very cool. Okay, I also wanted to remind you the standing time will take care of the ones we got out of the microwave. They look just as nice. And I also put the avocado that I sliced in some water to keep the browning from happening. You see how that didn't brown? It's really nice. It keeps the oxygen from turning that brown. Avocados are really good as far as freezing too. So if you get this, I'm going to make one slice first, right here. And then make one slice and then make another one. And then go ahead and peel the peeling right off of that. And then put that on top of your egg dish or boat. Okay. Then, if you're not going to use this, you could just put it in the water or for the next morning. Or you could put these in like a little mini cupcake tin and freeze them. And they don't need any lemon juice or anything. And they don't brown. So you can freeze them and then put them on your item and let them thaw a little bit. Or you could put a little lime or lemon in with it so that it's all ready and done. That would work too. Okay? I love avocados, but I don't always use them all. I don't know about you, but I don't always. So put some fresh chives and tomatoes on that, and you have got some breakfast. Also, I wanted to show you too really quick. Make like an hors d'oeuvre or like an appetizer is to cut these in strips like this. And then you've got yourself, let me show you that, a really pretty little hors d'oeuvre. And then here's that piece of bread that comes from the middle, and I just kind of brown that up in the oven. So I hope that you will try this and that you and your family will have a brand new dish that you love and will try over and over. I want to thank you for joining me today. This is Laurie Bates, from my home to yours.